30 years has passed since the Battle of Endor. Luke has aged and gotten wiser, and has been Jedi Grand Master for the past 20 years, teaching young Jedi the ways of the Force in the planet called Ossus. As in for Han and Leia. Han would step down being a smuggler, and Leia would become Supreme Chancellor of the New Republic, and both would have gotten married and have a son named Ben after Kenobi. That was Force-sensitive and was one of the first students Luke trained, but sadly died in a rescue mission in Dathomir just before his Padawan graduation. This put a lot of weight in the relationship, and even towards Luke, but due to his occupation, he had to be strong during his tough time, including Leia. But for Han, he became far depressed than the happy character he was in the original trilogy. We start our trilogy with a girl with no past and a distant future ahead for herself, called Rey, living rent-free in a scrapyard in Jakku, where she has been her whole life, just for her to eat and not get bored. She gets scraps and sells them just to buy food and save, but deep inside she doesn't want to do that. The rest of her life, she's only 19, there's still a feel of new beginnings awaiting her. So one day, she gathers all her life savings to board on a ship to Ossus, where rumors say Jedi are helping the people of that planet and others to seek refuge, and if Force-sensitive to be enrolled to the temple for training. Rey doesn't know if she's Force-sensitive but has a feeling. Her odd, haunting dreams have a deeper meaning and need to be discovered. During this time, Han has convinced Luke to take a break from teaching and spend a weekend helping his sister be ready for her general election campaign. And so Luke agreed, and on this great day, Leia listened to the young man trying to convince her people to vote for him by using trickery and bribery. Luke could spot this away, and so did the others. It was time for Leia to express her feelings, and so she did. And everyone loved it. She was gonna try help implement water in Tatooine and help many unfortunate planets in the galaxy. But then suddenly a huge explosion occurs, breaking down the ancient city into rubble. This gave flashbacks to when the Empire was in control. People were panicking, and Leia and Luke tried to calm everyone down, but it wasn't working. But then several Imperial ships appeared above, using hyperspace injecting into the planet with TIE fighters. Seemingly all this was an ambush from greater power. A man in a black robe and helmet would be leading a bunch of new and improved Imperial soldiers towards the broken galactic campaign intimidatingly. But this man was no random man. This man had a lightsaber, but it was different. It was the first Sith in years. It was a red lightsaber that was crossguard, and the saber was bleeding red, showing how complex the man in black was. Han would have been trapped in rubble and unconscious. Luke, on the other hand, was blasted a couple meters away from Han, on a pile of rubble, injured and a bit burnt on the skin. Leia was in shock and was bleeding from her left arm, but was in much better shape than Luke and Han. But in her proximity, she could see the hooded figure with his lightsaber getting flashbacks to her father. Vader, she could sense the man's rage, but it was familiar. It felt just as when she was younger, and was captured by Vader, the hate and the lust for power. And in the background, innocent lives were taken away by the man's men. The hooded man would look straight into Leia's eyes, with Leia surrendering her life for the innocent people that still remain. But the man wouldn't even care. He would shout at he and say,
"Look at me as you suffer. Leia, look at me!" Luke, in the flash of light, clashed his green saber onto the black-suited man's saber as they both dueled. The man's army already capturing people and kids into there. Imperial ships, the man in black would taunt the old man to tap into the darkness, but Luke was too wise to listen. He was stunned on how trained the young man was. It was almost like he was a young version of himself that could have gone to the Sith. But as they continued to fight, Kylo would press himself into Luke, turning off his lightsaber and turning it right back into Luke's stomach. Luke would be shocked. He didn't expect that move. His body was slow and not as precise as the young Sith. It shows age caught up to him, and Kylo would say to one of his stormtroopers that they're heading towards Ossus and gonna take down all Jedi and capture the younglings. Luke would be listening and shout at the man as he was holding his chest and on the floor, asking him to stop in his name. The name is Kylo Ren. I'm the leader of this new galactic empire. We are called the First Order, and we will be the only one. Goodbye, Master. He would get into his TIE fighter and would go to Ossus to destroy the temple and everything that was rebuilt since the Battle of Endor. Luke would be shocked at the last word that Kylo Ren guy said was Master, but he soon second-guessed his thoughts to then check on Leia. But she would be too busy looking for Han, but Luke sadly had more interest in saving his students and his order, so he would try stealing an empty TIE fighter and take off to the danger. Luke would have arrived at the planet Ossus and would see his home burned to the ground with the First Order destroying everything, and the pile of dead Jedi and refugees, and the one on top being Kylo Ren looking down at the destruction he made, which made Luke angry for the first time in years and would force push him into the building lobby and would draw out his weapon, then lash out at the men still injured but still fighting to save the remaining survivors running around the place. We would see Rey in the ship from Jakku arrive, but what it seems to be a war. Several Jedi and refugees fighting what it seems to be the ancient empire, but modified the people in her ship, panicked. And Rey told everyone to calm down and even the driver to land and bring people into the ship. This was Rey showing acts of good in a bad situation, and in a few moments later she rushed out telling people and Jedi to come, and more would many of them said, "There's younglings in the burning temple," and with no hesitation Rey's legs ran towards the building, almost as if she was possessed into doing it. Rey would enter the burning sensation and would try find the kids with another Jedi besides her defending her from any attacks. She would see a glimpse Luke and Kylo Ren, but that didn't matter. She soon found the younglings and told the Jedi to take them out, and for her she was gonna look for more. Luke would carry on fighting, and Ren would say, "So you haven't realized who I am?" Luke would pause and would say a name he hasn't said in years. "Ben, it's you who did all this. Why, I thought you were dead." Kylo would scream, "I was not dead. How long did it take you to replace me, huh? Why did you leave me there all alone?" Luke would pause, heartbroken, and Ren would remove his mask, leaving it there. "I guess it's useless now, as you figured it out as your weak old man. I'm going to destroy everything you built," walking away. "Sir, we don't have much time left. The building is gone, collapse." Rey would help Luke walk out of the fire with both of them. Getting a few burns, they would soon get out, and she would ask him, "Is he the Grand Master?" And he would pause and eventually say yes. Rey would say, "You need to snap out of this, and think fast." But then Luke would hold his bleeding chest and ask for medical attention. And so Rey got him into the ship. A whole 24 hours passed and a quarter of the new Republic of the Galaxy was under control. Ren was winning and Luke was lost. The war at Ossus settled down, and everyone that survived saw friends and family dead and alive. In several mixed emotions, Luke was walking around looking at his old classrooms in rubble, seeing a stormtrooper unconscious, and he would withdraw his saber towards his, and waited for the man to wake up. Luke was scared. He was using dark side traits he shouldn't be doing. The man would wake up panicking, seeing the green saber aiming at him through his helmet. He would remove it and would start begging for his life. The Luke would say, "Did you kill me, people? Did you?" The man was scared. He had fear. He was young and didn't know what he really was doing. He would say, "I didn't kill anyone. I was just sent here to secure containers for the Order. And if I didn't, they would have killed me. Please don't kill me, please." Luke would pause hand help pick up the young man. "You seem lost and full of fear. I've been there once. You now work for me, and together you have more explaining to do. And leak everything you know about Kylo Ren. Is that clear?" The former trooper was hesitant and said yes. Getting helped up, and Luke told him to remove them clothes if he's gonna be around him. So lucky the man had clothes underneath, and he followed Luke to help survives. And Luke would say thank you to Rey, and tell her that she has traits of force, sensitivity, and is willing on training her, and that she has a good heart, reminding him of his sister. And so Rey, and the new boy next to Luke, would speak for a brief moment. Rey would greet the young man, asking him what's his name, and if she's seen him before, the man would think of a name besides the one he's been raised with. "Finn. My name is Finn." And she would say her own name. He would say, "I was a boarding pass officer before this war happened." He would be lying, but she wouldn't notice it. Luke would chuckle, showing a sign of humanity since the attack. He would try communicate to his sister, but it was left on error, so that he could tell her that Ben is Kylo Ren. And if she's found Han Solo and any plans on attacking back, Rey would grab Luke's shoulder and would say, "There's Jedi pupil waiting for his call." Luke would nod and Finn would he hesitate and would follow Skywalker. Luke would declare to all remaining Jedi to leave the planet and that it's too dangerous to stay here and to be a Jedi for now. So for now, they should wait and keep in hiding. A few hours later, Luke would try find a new ship, and Finn would ask him if he needs a pilot due to Finn having nobody anymore. He didn't want to be left behind again, so he tries persuading Luke, and Luke remembers him doing it to Kenobi for him to join the rebellion back in the day. He would smile and would turn serious after. "How can I even trust you? You're still in the list of stormtroopers that destroyed my home and people, huh?" Finn would yell. All right. Yes, I did. Besides the murder. Sorry. Okay, we both done. Our share things of bad. If you were in my shoes, you would have done the same. I was raised into this. You're lucky. I had humanity in not choosing to kill or to be killed. Luke would say then, "Why aren't you dead?" "That's because I survived. I wasn't securing no containers. I was on a hunt to kill people like you. So I entered a classroom, and I just couldn't. There's something in me that stopped me from doing it. I saw myself in your students' shoes, and so my commander shot me down. So you're not as evil as I thought you were. I'm sorry then. If you come on board with me, promise me you tell me where Kylo, maybe his accomplice, are staying." Finn would say, "Yeah, sure. It's a massive space station called Star Killer. 6 times the size of the Death Star Luke Jar would drop." He would say, "We have some huge planning to do." Rey would appear behind Finn and would say, "I heard all that. And by the way, Finn, I didn't buy the whole boarding officer thing. And as you said, Luke," she looked at him saying, "I'm force sensitive. Can you train me?" One-on-one, Luke said no, due to him not having time, and Rey said, "We can make time." Luke would say, "What about all the other Jedi? Why don't they not join me instead of hiding as I asked them? Why are you so special, Rey?" "That's because I am Palpatine's granddaughter, and I believe you can end my corrupted dreams and my future. If me becoming a Sith, then I want you to make me flee from it and become pure of light instead of being alone and evil on Jakku." Luke would struck back at her, saying she's his worst enemy's granddaughter, and how would you know that, dear? "Because my father, just before he died when I was a girl, gave me a letter about why he died. He died due to him being failed. Clone of Palpatine, and was sent to live on his own after being known as useless, and met my mother that got sick later on, and died, and he was the only thing I had left. And he died due to mixed complications with his skin, due to the cloning and the mixture of genes." "Luke, I'm so sorry to hear that, Rey. It seems I've been harsh on the both of you. Try not to mess with the 2 droids at the back. Meets R2-D2 and C-3PO. 2 worthy companions for life. So happy the troopers didn't stumble across this ship and them inside, so the planet we can stop by. That's close to us. And also a quick check to my family to see if my brother-in-law is okay and alive, and to see if we can make a great strike back at the First Order. And Kylo Ren." "Wait," Rey said. "Wasn't he not the man you were fighting in the temple?" Luke would say yes, but wouldn't expose. It's his nephew. "But anyways, let's enter hyperspace in 3, 2, 1. And they set their adventures awaiting them in Naboo. In the Starkiller base, we see Kylo Ren in a throne room on a holographic call with a mysterious man in a cloak talking about his plans on the galaxy, with Kylo Ren full of rage and hatred in his yellow and reddish eyes, with evil awaiting both master and apprentice.
So ladies and gents, this is it. This is the end of my What If Star Wars The Force Awakens was written by me. Part 1, I want to give credit where it's due to Prism and Star Wars Theory. This was huge inspiration for me, and doing my own spin. As you can tell, I use things like Red Hood as if he's Kylo Ren, and the whole mystery of the mask. Please like and subscribe. Bye.